Around the world, we are experiencing extinction at a rate that is unprecedented. In other geological epochs, we have seen species dissipate and ecosystems reach states that are unrecoverable. Mostly, these past mass extinctions have been credited to natural disasters or forces of nature at their most volatile states. However, the extinction we are experiencing now can be traced to one of nature's most unforgivable antagonists, Homo sapiens. Animal conservation aims to protect, manage, restore, and enhance biodiversity of species, habitats, and ecosystems. The Australian Wildlife Conservancy, or the AWC, was established over 10 years ago due to Australia's mammal extinction rate. Statistically, this rate ranked the worst in the world for the Mammalia class. For example, out of the surviving animals, over 1,700 species are considered threatened with extinction. For ecologists, the role of species in their relevant ecosystems is imperative to their research and actions. This ranges from topics such as the impacts of climate change, invasive species, and the effects of humans on biodiversity. Animal nutritionists focus on health, behavior, disease, and habitat conditions. They work directly with the Rescue Rehabilitation Department in order to gauge when an animal is healthy enough to be released back into the wild. Lastly, conservation biologists observe and record population data in order to maintain a sustainable population count. This includes research on genetic diversity, reproduction, and anthropogenic impacts. Humans, since the beginning of civilization, have utilized the efficacy of animal properties to better themselves. Since the 20th century, scientific studies have recognized the favorable impacts animals have on the well-being of humans. Animal-assisted therapy, or AAT, is used to improve human mental health. Overall, there is a lack of scientific research, and most of the data collected is inconclusive. However, the research that is available suggests that AAT reduces pain, depression, anxiety, and increases levels of attention with mental disorder. In adults, research shows that animal-assisted therapy decreases stress and encourages social interactions with people. Therefore, psychologists have noticed reduced symptoms of isolation and loneliness. On a neurological level, research shows that an increase in the neural hormone oxytocin is secreted in animal-assisted therapy patients. In children, research shows that AAT and pet ownership in general has developmental benefits. For example, AAT in children increases empathy, self-esteem, as well as social and physical activity. When looking at entozoological research, it is important to additionally look at the impacts humans have on animal well-being. This becomes problematic because it is rather hard to objectively evaluate mental health of an animal. However, there are generally accepted signs of stress associated with animal behavior. One study shows that dolphins used for AAT prefer two-handed petting but tend to come in pairs, which equates to less petting. This displays the potentiality that dolphins don't like to be pet. Overall, there is some evidence for the impacts of AAT on mental health, but we should be more conscious of the ways in which our benefits from animal companionship affect animal well-being.
Under the current economic system, even interpersonal relationships between animals and humans have become commodified. The practice of selling live turtles, fish, and salamanders as keyring decorations is happening throughout Chinese cities. This exploitation is common under the current worldview that sees animals as commodities to be used for economic growth. Australia is home to some of the world's most unique creatures and most unique habitats, The Great Barrier Reef is the world's largest coral reef system, larger than the UK and Ireland combined. Nevertheless, this sensitive habitat needs protection to survive. In spite of this, the Government of Australia continues to pursue economic growth at the expense of mass environmental destruction. The Adani coal mine, planned to be built in Queensland, will degrade the reef through pollution and further hurt an already struggling environment. This reckless short-term outlook is in direct contrast with the traditional owners of Australia, the Aboriginal people. Prior to colonisation, Aboriginal people lived off their land using methods that allowed for its upkeep and for future generations. The idea of simultaneously looking after the environment and respecting its past, present and future is integral to Aboriginal culture. The Aboriginal people also have huge respect for the animals themselves, which are spiritually related to them through dreamtime stories as well as thought of as totems, which create links between individuals, families and communities. As animals were viewed as sacred, animal products within Aboriginal communities, such as decorated kangaroo cloaks, are also highly regarded and not treated as disposable, unlike the treatment of animal products within modern industrialized states. The Aboriginal relationship with animals can best be related by Aboriginal people themselves, and so I conducted the following interview with an Aboriginal man. Hi, this is David. He's an Aboriginal man from the Yorta Yorta tribe. We're going to talk a little bit about relationships with animals from an Aboriginal perspective. So firstly, I'd like to ask, how do you personally relate to animals as an Aboriginal man?
Okay, well, I'm from the Yorta Yorta tribe, which is just off the Murray River, down in Victoria, and my totem is a long-necked turtle, and obviously they're meant to be the embodiment of us after we pass away. So we're all good swimmers and stuff, and we just kind of see how we relate to them. It's really quite funny, but yeah, it's a big part of our culture. The animals are a part of our land, and the land is our mother. So our totems are usually our relatives. So that's why we're not allowed to eat them, get cursed. But yeah.
How are you normally assigned totems?
Pardon?
How do you normally get assigned totems?
Honestly, I have no idea how you get assigned them, but it's just part of the tribe that, like, from different areas. I think it's like the most, I won't say dominant, but just a very common animal within the area, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, so is there any difference then amongst Aboriginal nations in how they relate to animals?
Yes, there is, because, well, there's different types of animals. More coastal-based tribes and near water and stuff will focus on a lot more of water animals, like me with my long-necked turtle, opposed to my little brother. He's from Sydney, and I think his is a lizard. So we're two very different people in that way, and obviously they represent different characteristics. And it's a big part of our art as well, and that influences storytelling. So it leads on to a very big difference.
Yeah, nice. So how do you think this Aboriginal relationship with animals differs from the Western relationship with animals?
Yeah, well, the Western relationship with animals is, very resource based, and there's not much respect for them, you know what I mean? But in Indigenous culture, like I said, they're a part of the land, and the land is our mother. So we have to respect them and treat them as living creatures, just the way they are. And we'd always work with the land, not against it. We'd never try and drive things out of home. We did need to eat though, and that was just part of the game. But there's a very big difference because there's no real culture in Australia, especially the Western. But Indigenous really focuses on their animals.
Okay, great. Thank you. In the future, it is hopeful that increasing awareness amongst the young generation about the human effect on the Earth's ecosystems and the damage done to animal populations globally will lead to a relationship between humans and animals more in line with the Aboriginal values of respect and coexistence. It is often forgotten that humans are animals too, and the invisible line of separation we put between ourselves is manifested only in our minds. And as such, all environmental problems we place upon animals, we in turn place upon ourselves. A positive relationship between humans and other animals is therefore in the best interest of all.